smoke is quieting down. Seems like we've got to a lot of the smoke. Dub, you got smoke?
Yo, 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 what's going on, y'all? So, on episode 781, QUEENZFLIP called out Joe Budden for being dismissive and using manipulative tactics against his girlfriend Sade during the Podwise episode. It's getting crazy, right? Now, Flip questioned Joe's behavior, asking what the point of therapy is if Joe continues to repeat the same toxic actions the therapist is trying to help him stop. In Flip's eyes, Joe is weaponizing therapy, twisting its purpose to his advantage, and manipulating his girlfriend in the process. Nasty work. This was an impactful segment where QUEENZFLIP held Joe accountable for his actions as a man in his personal relationship. Moments like these are important, especially among men, because they encourage accountability, build character, and help straighten your homeboy out. When you're on such a large platform, your actions have a ripple effect. It's likely, you know what I mean, the girlfriends of the other co-hosts like Ish, Ice, Parks, also watch the podcast. Seeing one of the guys like Flip take a stand for women's perspectives can make the women in their lives feel more comfortable and validated. Like, like when you go out with your homeboys and your girls is like, oh, you going out with a good dude, so you could go out with him. I know it's gonna be good. He's a married man. Maybe Flip made them feel like that. He gave them those kind of vibes. But look at the files.
For you, when you have time.
I always have time for you. You crazy?
I just have a question about, maybe not the time, but about therapy. Last time we had a conversation about therapy, and then I watched the clip with you and Sade. And I just felt like therapy could be used as a crutch, because when I watched it, I felt like you were still in your manipulative tactics when I watched your response to her. So
you think he weaponized it?
Yeah. What's the point of therapy, or keep going? Like, I feel like some people just go to therapy just to say they go to therapy. I think it's a new thing to do.
It's like Gucci.
Yeah, to me. And I watched it. I said, I watched it, and I do see a difference, but then I watch you go back and do the same thing. Like, I watch you weaponize. I was like, damn, this nigga is good, but why the fuck is he going to therapy if he's gonna still do the same thing? Like,
Touche.
You know what to do and what not to do, right?
Yeah,
like,
that's facts.
You know what to do and what not to do, so it just confused. That part confused. I thought about that shit on my whole trip.
But what was the same thing?
Just the manipulative, being dismissive.
That's not manipulative.
Huh?
That's not manipulative. That's just dismissive.
But then, don't your therapist tell you not to be dismissive? Then you go to therapy to identify your dismissive behavior and to correct it. So why go back to it? You just gonna keep doing it to go back to it and spend money?
Therapy is for you to properly internalize something yourself and then showcase that change in real life. So I think you're looking at that wrong on camera. We're able to discuss it like that on camera because we already got through it. And we got through it.
Got it. Okay.
Because there was extensive therapy, extensive communication, understanding where you was coming from, where I was coming from. By the time you see it on cam, it's old.
Now, in that clip that was just played, QUEENZFLIP told Joe, you know what to do and what not to do. But Joe responded with a quick, that's facts, and a dismissive tone. It was clear Joe was trying to rush Flip through his point so he could counter it. Flip didn't back down, though, and continued addressing the issue head on. Joe had previously spoken about a therapist him and his girlfriend were seeing during the Podwives episode. Joe admitted that he fired the therapist when she stopped taking his side and began challenging him aggressively. His exact words were, "She isn't getting my money anymore." According to Joe, the therapist would have had private conversations with his girlfriend to make her feel comfortable, but during their joint sessions, she maintained a fair, neutral stance. You feel me? The moment she pushed back against Joe, and came at him a little aggressively, he canceled the sessions. This situation highlights why some people view therapy as ineffective or just performative. A person like Joe Budden could simply opt out when they don't like what they're hearing. You feel me? Like, Ish even compared it to people bragging about shopping at Gucci, implying for some therapy is more about like status or appearances than real change at this point. Because everybody talk about it like it's, something crazy. Like, chill out. Joe later revealed they switched to a high-priced therapist who just got straight to the point. Joe claimed that this new therapist was more effective, but Flip and likely many listeners found the timing and reasoning suspicious. Was the new therapist truly better or just more expensive and less likely to challenge Joe? One could argue the latter. Why should therapists charge less and risk losing clients like Joe? Instead, charging premium rates may ensure they're compensated enough to not care if a difficult client quits after receiving raw, unfiltered feedback. Now, Joe dismissed much of Flip's criticism by claiming that the issues Flip referenced had already been resolved off camera. Joe argued that by, the time the audience sees these episodes, the drama is old news for him and Sade. Yet, some fans aren't buying it. Speculation has swirled in the Joe Budden podcast community that Podwives episode went so horribly wrong for Joe and it required major damage control. This theory has been fueled by Joe's recent absence from the podcast, as well as his cryptic tweet, "I'm going through some personal things right now. Clippers, please don't do any think pieces about it." Initially, right? Fans thought Joe's absence was related to the Jay-Z news in the media and that he wanted to avoid giving his opinion on the topic. However, others suspect his absence has more to do with a fallout from the Podwives episode, but I don't really know. Despite skipping both his main podcast and Patreon content for the week, Joe did manage to record another Podwives episode. This raised eyebrows. How could Joe find the energy to film Podwives but not his own show? Right? Now, QUEENZFLIP's confrontation with Joe is a valuable teaching moment for men. It highlights the dangers of using therapy as a shield to just justify, toxic behaviors or manipulate others. Seeking help in the public eye only to continue destructive patterns isn't just hypocritical. It can make someone even more harmful. Therapy is supposed to make a person grow, and take accountability. But when it's weaponized, it can have the opposite effect. You feel me? Like, he could just be going, using it to become a monster. Men in particular should take the note of Flip's stance. Accountability among friends is crucial. When one man calls another out for harmful actions, especially in a personal relationship, it creates a healthier dynamic for everyone involved. Flip's willingness to challenge Joe on a public platform shows that even the most dominant personality in the room isn't above criticism. Now, do you agree with QUEENZFLIP approach to holding Joe Budden accountable, or do you think he should have handled it differently? And, do you think Joe weaponized therapy in his relationship with Sade, or is there another perspective we're missing? Have you ever seen someone use therapy as a way to appear self-aware while still engaging in toxic behavior? And how do you think, that should be addressed? And what are your thoughts on men holding their friends accountable in public versus private settings? Does it depend on the situation? And do you believe the Podwives dynamic provides valuable insight into the co-host personalities? Or does it create unnecessary drama? And should the other co-hosts like Ish, Ice, and Flip bring their significant others on for future Podwives episodes to show the similar vulnerability? Let me know. And this episode, gives everybody a lot to reflect on. Whether it's about the dynamics between Joe and Sade, the role of therapy in relationships, or the importance of male accountability. There's something here for everyone. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and we'll be back with the files.
My guy Dub too. That's my man though.
Gang gang.
That's my man, Big Dub.